Good afternoon. Phil Lindemann with your news from Avalanche Physical Therapy on Krystal 93. Kids are back in school this week, and state epidemiologist Rachel Herlihy is answering questions about COVID in the classroom.
Are we seeing an increase in hospitalizations among children because Delta is more severe, or is it simply that Delta is more transmissible among children? And it could be a little bit of both, but it does appear that most of what we're seeing probably primarily due to increased transmissibility.
20-somethings still account for the majority of new cases statewide this week. In Summit, it's those in their 30s and 70s. At pediatric wards, most COVID patients are under the age of 6.
The bulk of a burden of hospitalization in the state and across the country really does continue to be among the adult population, primarily among individuals that are unvaccinated adults.
The state's chief medical officer, Eric France, explains how dormant respiratory issues like RSV are cropping up again.
Last year was very unusual. We had very little flu and very little RSV during the winter months. People were staying home, people were staying distant, people were wearing masks. And the end result was these respiratory viruses of the winter did not show up in Colorado. And so now here we are months later, and to our surprise, respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, is back in the community.
RSV is partly to blame for sending more kids to the hospital. RSV is often mild, but rarely appears this soon in August. Colorado took an $8.8 billion hit last year from lost tourism, but not everyone lost the same. This from a 2020 Colorado tourism report. Denver, Summit, and I-70 Mountain Resort counties all lost money, down as much as 40% in Pitkin County. Summit was down about 14%. But counties in southern Colorado saw more visitor spending, up 10% in Gunnison, Chaffee, and San Miguel counties, up as much as 28% in La Plata on the New Mexico border. The future is electric, and it's already here in the form of e-bikes.
It's a high demand right now. It's just really good. People coming from low altitude can just get on a bike and keep up with people that live here.
That was Mo with Blue Valley Rentals in Silverthorne. Market studies show the U.S. e-bike industry will nearly double in 7 years, from $25 billion now to $48 billion by 2028. Blue Valley's been renting e-bikes for 3 summers now, and Mo says they are more popular than ever.
It was a busy summer. I mean, definitely busier because we were a skateboard shop before that. And it definitely a big improvement from skateboard sales. You know, like this summer was our busiest ever.
Electric motors also come inside surfboards known as e-foils, and you don't need surf to ride them. Jim McTasney of Riverstyle Sports.
They're silent, they're electric, so there's no pollution, there's no emissions. We really feel like they've got a place out here on these Colorado waters.
We met McTasney at Green Mountain Reservoir this week for an e-foil lesson.
We want these boards to be under the control of the rider. I mean, yes, there are going to be falls, but if you're out there riding, we're out there with other watercraft, other swimmers, everything else. We want to be safe. We want to be in control of the craft that we're on.
Local e-foil rider Joe McIntyre was hoping the sheriff and marina managers would meet us at Green Mountain as well to see one in action, but no authorities came.
All I want to say is, have fun with it. No one's here to put pressure on you, or no one's trying to be an expert on day one, but it's a quick learning curve. And it's something new. Try something new.
E-foils are not specifically banned on Lake Dillon, except for a ban on swimming. But a new, obscure set of bylaws for Lake Dillon would allow for limited swimming as soon as next month. And in local sports, brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Weiss Agency. This week on The Warmup.
I rented out about 50 tents and 100 air mattresses, and we actually camped out on the grass fields at the high school for the first week. It was very wet and rainy, and we got soaked, and through some of that, you bond together.
That was Summit High head football coach James Wagner, recapping an unusual first week of practice.
We played a bunch of team competitions like tug of war, wiffle ball, relay race with egg on a spoon. Yeah, we finished it out with some dodgeball, and so that was great. And then at the end of the week, we went rafting as a team down the upper Colorado.
Since then, the Tigers have been out on the field, led by senior captains Aiden Collins and Graham Califf. Football's last winning season was 10 years and 2 coaches ago, and Wagner, now in his 3rd year, is hungry to do what they could not.
As a whole, this is probably the best looking team that we've had so far. We've got depth, guys are out. It's going to be a fun season to watch.
The Tigers scrimmage at home this Saturday with Evergreen at 10 a.m. Regular season opens next Friday, August 27th, out in Delta. This has been The Warm-Up with your Summit High Tigers, featuring local athletes and coaches every Thursday and Friday. Phil Lindemann with your news from Avalanche Physical Therapy on Krystal 93.